another bit of news from the AFC East as we continue to monitor the disaster that is the 2023 New England Patriots. Bill O'Brien, the offensive coordinator, said yesterday in his session with reporters that Mac Jones remains the starter and that new backup Malik Cunningham's role will be determined week to week. Cunningham had 6 total snaps in the loss to the Las Vegas Raiders. Jones reportedly was on a short leash going into week 6. It's not like he played well enough to shake that leash, so maybe it's still there. I think what's happening that they're not going to tell us about, they are working feverishly to get Malik Cunningham to the point where they're comfortable giving him more reps, because I think that's the guy, Charean, that Bill O'Brien wants to put out there.
Well, it's interesting because they're using him at a lot of different positions. He lined up wide, he lined up in the slot in those 6 snaps, and he played 3 snaps at quarterback. So it's like, what are they doing with him? Are they going to make him like a Taysom Hill? Are they going to actually play him in place of Mac Jones? Because if the leash was really short, you would have changed quarterbacks at halftime. He was horrible in that first half of that game, Mike. And he's been horrible all year, obviously. But he played much better in the second half, and they kept him out there. This is just, they've handled this whole quarterback position messy. It's just been messy. And you remember going back to coming out of training camp in the preseason, they cut Trace McSorley and Zappi. And then they re-signed Zappi to the practice squad. And then they brought in Matt Corral and Ian Book and Will Greer. And it's like, what are you doing at this position? And I don't know what they're doing, and I'm not sure they know what they're doing, Mike.
Yeah, and look, if Mac Jones would ever be benched, one of his very plausible arguments would be, and I don't know how public he would go with it, he does the Stepford Patriot thing at most of his press conferences, and it's only during games where we see him act up. But last year when they were going through that mess at offensive coordinator with Matt Patricia running the show when he never should have been, and Joe Judge helping out when he never should have been, Mac Jones wasn't happy. And I think there were issues within the building. And I think there was some stuff that we'll never know about until people start writing their memoirs about Belichick and Kraft and Mac. And in defense of Mac Jones, I think one of the reasons he's not very good this year is he got ruined last year. It wasn't just, how do I continue to develop in year 2 of my career? I think it was not only flatline, it was regression. Dealing with that crayons and safety scissors offense last year made him worse. So what Bill O'Brien has to do this year isn't just figure out how to build on what he did as a rookie. How do I undo the damage that was done to this guy last year through 17 games of dealing with something that was far less than what any NFL quarterback should expect? And I can't help but wonder whether or not they're being a little more patient with him, because Bill O'Brien's saying to Bill Belichick, as tactfully as he can, one of the reasons this guy stinks is because you messed him up last year.
Well, and they did mess him up last year. There's no question about that. And you talked earlier, Mike, about the mental reps and the positivity of all that. This is the opposite of that. You've just been beaten down to the point where you've got to be built back up. And I agree with you. I think that's what Bill O'Brien is trying to do right now, is build this guy back up, saying, look, let's go back and look at what you did really well. And it disappeared last year because of this, but we've got it back on track now. So I think he's trying hard to get him back to that point. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. And I think that's what they're going through. Okay, if it doesn't happen, if we can't turn this guy around, do we turn to Malik Cunningham and just see what we have in him at quarterback? And I think they will at some point. I think they are getting him ready to say, let's see what we have in this guy. They did it last year. Maybe they do the same thing this year with Malik Cunningham.
And here's the other side of it, too. You know, one of the factors for an embattled coach late in a lost season, do just enough to give ownership something to think about. Hey, I found a young quarterback that we can build around. That, but it's not going to matter. It's just not going to matter. it really has gotten to the point where it's starting to feel like a foregone conclusion that there's going to be a parting, whatever they call it, mutual resignation, retirement. I don't think he's going to get fired, but it's hard to imagine this continuing. It just feels like it's not sustainable. The Patriots just aren't competitive. I know they could have won, but it's not like the Raiders are a great team. This is a team that's going to walk into more buzzsaws than victories over the balance of the year. And there's 11 more of these games that Robert Kraft has to sit through while he remembers what it used to be like, as all the fans of the team remember what it used to be like. And it just feels like it's never going to get back to what it was with the current coaching staff in place. So 11 more games with Belichick, and then the real intrigue begins when the season ends. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.